In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a rudimentary 3D model as your basis for a freehand drawing presentation. So what we need to do first, of course, is to create a new file. Either get an existing file and then rename it, save it as, and then you can start. What I usually do, in the first thing that I need to check is the units. So in this case, it's in meters. So you can see the interface here, and that's okay. So to have a sense of scale here, and the very first thing that I usually do in their existing layers already is to, by using layer 0, is to create a line. Okay, so this is not orthographically locked, so I'm going to be pressing F8 to lock this and encode in 10 meters. So I'm going to be using this as a sense of scale, sort of scale bar. I'm going to offset this by 5 meters. So O, enter, and then punch in the number. I'm going to be going through this very fast. So if you are not very familiar with AutoCAD, I suggest that you check out some of my tutorials. I'm going to be flashing them over to the upper right hand of this screen, or they can be found in the description below. So that's the 10-meter scale bar. So I have an idea of what the sizes are whenever I'm trying to draw something. I've done the initial sketch, but in scale. So it's a freehand scale that I've been previously doing, and now it's time to create a more accurate 3D model, so that's something that I can use for as the underlay for a sketch study, a number of studies refining the design. More or less, I'm kind of set with the design, and so therefore it's time to do a more accurate 3D. So the first thing that we need to do is to insert. So in order to insert the image of the floor plan, I'm going to be using the image command. So I need to attach the image of my floor plan into the CAD. If I start typing image, and there's an image attached, so that's the image that I want. So for the meantime, just put it in, and currently it's not to scale. I'm going to click the frame of this. I'm going to go to home here, and I want this to be def points so that later on I won't forget that it's not supposed to be printed out. So how to scale this properly? So I have a scale bar that I placed in when I was doing the sketch. So we're going to use a scale bar as a means to align, to scale this properly, so that when you're constructing everything, it's more or less scaled to what you've done. So the emphasis here is I want to generate the 3D model that is more or less accurate to this. So how to do this is we will be using the align command. Align, type in your command prompt. I need to, before the align command, I have to draw a scale bar, a reference line over here. So it's not exactly aligned, but more or less it's there. So I'm just going to zoom in and try to match up where the line is. That's going to be my basis into aligning this, because I need a grip, the grips of the endpoints of this line in order for me to align there. So I'm going to invoke the align command. AL is the shortcut for that. I'm going to choose flat. Maybe remove the scale bar here. I'm going to press R, enter, just to remove that. Enter again, just to get it out. Now it's time to align this. So you always read the prompt and how this is done. Okay, so it's asking me for a line specify first source, which is here. So I'm gonna click that once. I'm gonna go over here to the scale bar. Click that. Now it's asking me for the second source. Once I click that, it's asking me where my destination is. So I'm going to place it here. And then it's asking for a third point, which I do not need. So I'm just going to press enter just to continue. And then this is a crucial point here. It's asking if I want it aligned, scaled to these points, and I would say yes. So make sure to press yes for that. You can now erase this reference line, and you can move out this image into here. So this should be scaled, and if we're going to try to measure this, di is distance. I'm gonna go there. There, now it's saying it's 10 meters. So once this is scaled, now you could start generating the 2D line base for this model. So I'm going to create an XL line, and I'm going to use a horizontal one. Align this to the center of this. So this has a circular structure. Use this again, align. So it's better to just zoom in and try to match up the lines. So in this case, I'm gonna move this back here. So I think this is aligned. Now, one way of checking this, if you need to align this better, I'm gonna copy CO, that line, and see if it's aligned with the property line. I need to rotate this a bit so I can get the best results. Maybe I could check XL vertical here if it's aligned as well. I think so. Maybe this is just the started when I was taking a picture of this. So if you feel that you need to align, you can rotate RO. Click the object first. Get that. Turn off your ortho by pressing F8. Okay. Get RO. Ever so slightly. Okay. There. I think that's good. Now I can align this crosshair. More there. Yes. I'm gonna trim those lines for the meantime. Now, in order for me not to be confused, I'm gonna create new layers here. 3D base. To give it a color, say I'm going to select red as my base. So I'm going to use these lines. I'm just convert these lines to that. You can see I'm going to be using this to offset. So I know that this is 6 meters. Offset by 6 meters. Offset by 6 meters, offset by 6 meters, and this is like 18 meters here to the property line. So I have that. So pretty much accurate. And then the circle is in the set from the set is generated from the center. So C for circle. Oh, I haven't changed this to that. You can always change this to that base layer. And then I'm going to create a line going here to there, a line to there. For my building. And I'm going to be offsetting this. Yes, this is a curving line from here for the building's line. First, I want to know what the distance is, and that gives me this information. So 3.6. Okay, so it's 3.7. I'm gonna offset it. 3.7. Offset. Going that way. Okay. So break that. BR for break. And I can erase these extra lines. So I want to. What I'm trying to generate here is the general outline of the building. Then in the middle, I know for a fact that this is 5 meters. So I'm going to create a circle at 2.5 meters radius. That's the shape of my building. So I'm just going to trim some of these lines. What I'm trying to do here now is to remove these extra lines. Lines I don't need anymore. Now I'm going to be splitting my screen into 2 viewports. There's a preset already, so I'm just going to go to 2. I'm going to go for isometric here, the other direction. There are furniture here, which later on I can generate rudimentary models. Here, I'm just going to erase some of these unnecessary lines. So that line, just going to keep this as a reference for the center. Now, the base of this is going to be about 0.55. So I'm going to generate that. So offset 1 meter. So pretty much, I know the dimensions here. Let's sketch this. Yes, that's actually a 3 meter line. Fillet. Into a corner. So this is going to be the alfresco area. Extend that. Use that line. Fillet. Then don't forget to convert these into their proper layer. Going to home. 3D base. Well, what I'm trying to do here is really constructing the base. So if you're trying to do this, the sketch of this by doing CAD, you see the difficulty here. I've already been spending like say 20 minutes trying to just do the base, and sketching at first is the ideal process here. So you can see that it's a slow process, and if you're trying to think about design, you end up like being clouded with this the task of trying to do this properly. And you can see that I'm slow at trying to draw these lines, which I did in like seconds, and yet it's in scale. And then here, so make that. So I'm trying to make a basis of all of this. Okay, so much. You can see the initial here. So I have 2 things now that I want to do here. First is the base, or the platform where all the interior floor are the same. So I'm gonna make a copy, CO or copy. So I'm just gonna leave this alone. So I'm selecting only the red lines. Okay, so orthodox is F8, so that it's just being transferred there. So I'm going to be creating the base. So I'm ready to create that 0.55 base that I was talking about. So in order to do that, I'm going to trim some of those lines out. So erase and trim what I don't need. Like I can fillet this, fillet F, so I know which one is actually the base I need. So you always leave a copy first on what you first did, and then copy whatever the base, in generating the base. So I don't need these stairs here. And I'm going to erase these lines. They are not part of that base. And then I'm going to trim the arc. So my base is still here. I don't need these steps yet. Erase. Fillet. Fillet. So I've been doing this for the last more than 20 years, and still, as you can see how slow things are when you're trying to generate 3D. And yeah, this is the outcome for that base that I was talking about. So now I need to convert this into a polyline, so that when you extrude, it's going to be a solid surface. So in order to do that, I'm going to invoke the command PE or P-edit. Yes, I'm going to join. Yes, I'm going to turn it into a polyline, and then choose the rest. That's it. So in order to check this, that's the base. Okay, I need that circle later on to subtract. So I'm going to extrude everything. EXT is the command for this. It's going to go up. Okay, I'm in the correct layer, which is the 3D base. Go up here in that direction and punch in the expression 0.455 for a 0.55 meter height. This is what you get, and then therefore I'm going to subtract the middle. Yes, I know where the tree. That's where the tree is supposed to be in my design. SU. So it's asking for regions to subtract from, which is this center ones, and then it's asking for select objects to subtract, which is this. So when you hide this HI, this is what it looks like. If we go on further, okay, so what I'm trying to actually do here is the interior space. I'm going to use the circle here. So there's going to be a wall here on this side. Okay, so it's offset by 1 meter. And then there's the counter is over here. So I'm going to be using this. I'm going to copy CO, get this center so that I know where the center is. The crisp, and then the outer curving wall. That line, I need that to extrude later on for my interior, this space. So I'm going to extend this AX, going with that. So the outline of what I'm trying to do is this space. This is my target area. No, so you can use this technique that I'm showing you into generating the exterior. But what I'm trying to do here is to very fast. I want to illustrate this space. I'm going to be placing in a camera later on. So I'm going to isolate this strange shape from that. I don't need that circle. I don't need that circle. So I don't need that part of the circle just now. And then here it's sort of flat. So from that, choose that. Then you can always find the center of this thing. Okay, trim TR. Okay, trim. So that's the wall, the interior form. Again, I'm going to be turning this into a polygon. I'm going to join them together. Choose everything. So here, Now, what I need to do is to actually give it a bit of thickness, so later on you can see a solid wall that's happening here. So I'm going to be offsetting this by roughly about 0.05, which is not really realistic, but it's close to what I need. Because I just won't need a general outline of this, so that I can place in my camera later on and see what's inside, reference this the way what it's going to look like. So I'm going to offset this by 0.05, which is 2 inches going in. So I'm going to go inwards of the closed polygon. So we have 2 polygon shapes, 1 and 2. So what I need to do here is to extrude just like before. So before extruding, you have to know what the ceiling height of this is, which is I want it to be like 3 meters. It's fairly higher than the usual, but not too high at the same time. So EXT, extrude. So I'm going to select both and go up that direction. I'm going to punch in 3. Enter. Now it's kind of thin here, and then I'm going to make a copy. No, wait, a copy of this before subtracting the inside, so that it's going to be hollow on the interior part. I'm going to subtract it. Enter once. Then select the subtracted. Okay. There you go. So just to check, I'm going to hide HI for hiding, and this is what it looks like. And then I have a copy just in case if I move this out of the way. These are like spare parts later on. If there's something wrong or something goes wrong, I can always refer to them. Now, in order for you to place this correctly, I'm gonna go and place this in the corner right here. Now you can see this on plan, which is wrong. And what you can do here is you can move this M, and then isolate the pick point, shift right click, center, just hover around the center of this. And then if you move over to this next window, shift right click, center, C for center, which is there. So it's perfectly aligned here. And there you go, how that's going to look like that. Another way of so that you won't be confused later on and you print this out as your basis is to put in grid lines. And before that, probably I can start doing the rudimentary furniture that's here. And this is just roughly about 2.2 meters. I'm gonna be needing like furniture that is relatively small enough. I'm gonna be creating a table, let's say a regular table that's 1.2, 0.6, or I'm just going to create a table that is 0.6, 0.6. Then for chairs, I'm just going to generate at 0.5, 0.5. So I'm just going to taper this so I know that this is supposed to be like your chair. I'll set it by 0.05 so I can have a reference later on. So I can move this and taper that, and then erase these lines so that it looks like a chair. Move this. I'm gonna pick the midpoint and move. Shift right click M for the midpoint. Shift right click M for the midpoint here. And then you can move this out by 0.05. And then you can mirror this and iron and put perpendicular there. So I could copy this, rotate. So I'm using And what I'm trying to do here is really the fastest way to do things. Like array, it could have been done with array command, but I choose not to. Copy. I just copy that in. Okay, move this out. Move this out. Copy. So here, it's supposed to be from in the midpoint. Proportion of that. Mirror these midpoints. Mirror that midpoint. Copy. Midpoints. Okay. So you could hear the number of clicks that I'm doing in just these operations, and yeah, it's just that, you know, it's very artificial, and when you're trying to do AutoCAD, and it's really not so natural in terms of how do you operate, how you would be operating this the program itself. So I have a very rudimentary set of tables here. So I'm gonna move this up to the level of this, or probably I could start making a rudimentary extrusions of these, so that I would know where these things are to be all Extrude anyway later on. EXT. So the height of the table, that's ideal, is about 0.75. The bases of these seats are going to be like 0.5 or 0.4. So I'm just going to extrude these. Use XL horizontal. Place that in. Offset trim. Trim those. Trim that. Then I have, yes, I need to make this into a polygon, and PE again is the command, and then join that, and then extrude by EXT by 0.5 meters. EXT, choose object, 0.5. That would be the construction for the back seats. I'm going to move this in, move, and place it. I'm going to click that click point over here. So I have a very basic outline of a chair, which later on I will use as my basis for constructing the details later. Copy CO. Now you could start blocking these things, but you know, yeah, I want this to be like a set or something. So what I can do here is, okay, so I have this type of table. I'm just gonna erase that for the meantime, and from these things I can make iterations that what I need later on. So what I can do here is really, I can convert this 3D model of this thing. So I should be making this into another, organizing them into another layer. So we want this to be 3D fern, and then I'm going to assign a new color. I always use this first 7. That's to differentiate it with the green line, green color box. So in order for me to select everything, yeah, I need to select everything first and then turn it into that. So I'm gonna use that 3D fern as my current. Okay, so I can make variations of this on the inside later on. But yeah, let's see what I can do here. So I could that 1.2 meters by 0.6 meter table version could be done like this. And then mirror mi this, and then you can union these two surfaces. Uni is the then is the command for that. Unite, so there's no more line there. And I can start making iterations. So I would copy CO. These cedars. Like say I want just 2. And then make another copy CO. I can make say something like for 3 cedar. If this is going to be onto the wall. 4 cedar, yep. And then for this one, we can make another variation if there's like 4. If this is close to a wall, not full, E. I can start making blocks out of these things. I choose this, D for block. Okay, I'm gonna get say 4 dash long. Select the objects. Make sure that you get everything. The pick point, I want it say in the middle of them from the base, and press OK. So this is a block already. So now that I have these in blocks, I can transfer them and see the arrangement here. Move them in. So before that, I want them to be at the level that I need them to be at 0.55 meters. So I'm gonna pick all of them, and then my pick point is one of the corners, the lowest, and then just place them here on top of this surface. Now I can rearrange them here and plan. I can move them in. So here, since this is a block, I'm just going to click this once and then press M for move, then ortho unlock just to place them in. See if this is a nice arrangement here. I can do a nice arrangement. No, this is too large, so I'm going to be using like these 2-seater tables. We'll move them. Just gonna eye them in. Okay, so here I need, yeah, so the entrance is going to be here, so there's space. Just place them in. This is going to be glass, the glass window here, and this is going to be the parking. I'm just gonna move, and I'm just gonna be copying them. Copy a few, and then here I'm gonna ortho lock that ample space between those 2 chairs, so that's not too tight. So if you want a more accurate, like a uniform, I'm just gonna mirror them, okay, in. And then there's going to be checking the sketch. The door is gonna be here, so it's gonna be here somewhere. Then I need a large table there, so I'm gonna move this and ortho unlock. I'm gonna place that if I get none, so I need a bit of space there. Like an idea there. Yeah, so I want some bar stools here, so it's gonna be a raised up table surface, a polygon, PE, turn it to 1, then join all these 4, enter once. Okay, so we have something like this. Okay, so a sort of like a high table. What I need to do here is PX. Extrude this by the height, and so the surface of this is going to be like something like 1 meter, 1.2 So I'm going to place this over, move M, center, base, and then place it over the center there. So we can check this on the floor plan. Placed in a few M. I'm going to move this out of the way. It's not confusing. Anyway, I'll just place it somewhere else. And then I need to generate like stools here. So the easiest way that I can do here is really get one of these sets of blocks, copy, CO. Extrude, X. So I'm going to erase sides. Separated. I'm just erase. I'm going to isolate just one of these chairs. So I need something that's higher up than this, and since this thing is 0.4, I need something that is about 0.3 to 0.4 meters more. So I'm gonna get that arrow, and you can see the number here. So it's going to be, let's say, 0.3. You need this to be like 0.7. And in order to check that DI, that's 0.7 meters. So it's a high chair. And then I'm just going to move this to there. So if I try to, yeah, this is 1.2 meters. Well, roughly, I mean, it's a bit high, but yeah, that's it. So I'm going to make a block out of this. And high chair. It's a high stool chair. Big point probably in the middle of flats. Okay. So the grip point there. I'm gonna place this like quadrant of this, just there. You can see this, right? So move it out by a bit at 0 minus 0.05. So pretty much, you know, it's a very tight spot, and I know that's going to be where the door is, and then the toilet door is going to be there. And then just to see, you know, how these things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be placing a camera. Okay, so I'm operating in from the plan. And I'm just going to place this camera, zoom in a bit, so I have this view, you know, hoping that, you know, yeah, so I want for once. Okay, so the camera is inside. Okay, so it's partly, if you check the level of this, is in level 0. That's what we need. What we need is it's roughly about 1.5 meters from the surface, so it's a normal view. So in order to do that, I'm going to go and tweak the properties. Okay, so the property box is just right clicking it, click the camera, and then click here, and then you get these values. Okay, so what I need is the Z camera. It's going to be so 1.5 plus 0.55, which is the surface from the 0, would be 2.05. Okay, so it's angled there. And then we need to tweak as I can see, the preview of this. And then for the target of Z, target Z, same value, and this is what you see. So there's a curve line there, and then so field of view can be tweaked. Let's say if I punch in instead of 40, 50, enter, it has a wider view. So we could increase that. let's say 75. That's what you see. So you can see the curvature of this, and then yeah, pretty much yeah where the camera is. Okay, so we could see these things. Just check now. So it's pretty much the basic setup here. So I can go to my layout. So I'd like to have a printout of this. Erase the original first, because these setup need to be carefully done. And then of course the page setup, and this pops out. I need to modify, and then I'm gonna do all of these. Okay, so pretty much this is the setup, since I'm running in meters. So 4 things that you need. Okay, so to touch for this is the plotter and the scale. So 1 is 2.001 because we're dealing with the scale of millimeters to meters. The plot. Okay, for more information, I probably can link you up with a card on the right upper screen and how to set this up properly. So it's going to be landscape and okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back to layer depth parts in order for me to create like the viewport, the multi MV or multi view MV. Double enter. That's what you get. So now you have this. If I double punch in the inside, this into perspective, custom views, camera. This is what you have. So if I try to print this out, since I've already set up the plotting settings, Control P for plot. Let's take a look at the preview. Pretty much this is what I can use for plotting video. Yeah, so the entire process took me about what, an hour from 0 and importing. So this one, there's going to be a view of a partial of the tree, and probably I need another view of includes the counter in another view, plot, and then of course save this as, I'm going to put this in my desktop for the meantime. So Extrude version is okay because I need this to see all where things are, and it's a bit confusing, and probably I can modify what I'm seeing. I'm gonna be using this for a base for thinking of or sketching what to visualizing and designing the interior of this. Okay, I guess that's the end of this tutorial. Until the next video when I show you how to use this to sketch over the interior sketch or line drawing. See you then. Is there